In a minute, I know now I'm back to wrong. Looking for the antidote to crack the code. Pretty vivid, I admit it, I'm in classic mode. The only pity given to me, but I can't condone. Talking down to me, I'ma have to crack your nose for cracking jokes. I'm looking for the map to hope. You see that? They're making a whole lot of changes. Wrote a song about that, you should play it. I get scared when I walk on these stages. I look at the crowd and see so many faces. Yeah, that's when I start to get anxious. That's when my thoughts can be dangerous. That's when I put on my makeup and drown in self-hatred. Forget what I'm saying and where the beat go? Oh, ain't that something? Drums came in, you ain't see that coming. Hands on my head, can't tell me nothing. Got a taste of the fame and upon my stomach. Throw it back up like I don't want it. Wipe my face, clean up my vomit. OCD trying to push my buttons. I said don't touch it. Now y'all done it. I can be critical, never typical. Intricate with every syllable, I'm a criminal. Intimate but never political, pretty visual. Even if you hate it, I make you feel like you're in it though. You call me what you want, but never call me forgettable. Think you deep in thought I can never swim in the kiddie pool. Waited, I've been thinking the cinematic is beautiful. Man, I don't know if I'm making movies or music videos. Yeah, the sales can rise, doesn't mean much though when your health declines. See, we've all got something that we trapped inside that we try to suffocate, you know, hoping it dies. Try to hold it underwater, but it always survives. And it comes up out of nowhere like an evil surprise. Then it hovers over you to tell you millions of lies. You don't relate to that? Must not be as crazy as I am. The point of making is the mind is a powerful place, and what you feed it can affect you in a powerful way. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, but it's not always safe. Just hang with me, this'll only take a moment, okay? Just think about it for a second. If you look at your face every day when you get up and think you'll never be great, you'll never be great. Not because you're not, but the hate will always find a way to cut you up and murder your faith. Develop and take a look at the benefits. Nothing to meddle with, I can never be delicate. My irrelevant, that depends how you measure it. Take a measurement to back it up and give me the evidence. Pretty evident, dependable, can never be tentative. I'm a gentleman, depending on if I think you're genuine. Pretty elegant, but not afraid to tell you to get it. With proper etiquette, I keep it to myself when I celebrate, huh? It's that time again. Better grab your balloons and invite your friends. See, bounce back on, yeah, strap them in. Look at me, everybody, I'm smiling big. On a road right now that I can't predict. Tell me tone that down, but I can't resist. Y'all know that sound, better raise your fist. The search begins, I'm back, so enjoy the trip, huh?
Citizens of the world. The elite. They are not ready for this. But the people of the world are. They have been waiting for it. Deservingly so. But those guilty in the global conspiracy against us known as the coronavirus outbreak are not. And I would seriously start thinking now of plea deals and start talking or snitch each other out. You know how you try and get us to turn on each other, report someone not wearing a mask or any of the other violent, disgusting tactics used to keep us divided as you sucked the world dry, completely destroying the middle class as planned. Small business owners forced to close as corporations made trillions. The change of hands in financial terms has never before reached this level of egregiousness. Your greed and carelessness has you on the ropes, unaware of what's to come. You get this warning which is more than you gave us. Use it wisely, and now the tables will in fact be turned as can feel it in the air. There's a massive unification being carried out, witnessed here and now, that has been in the making. Racial division no longer works for you, as many groups have been talking. Black Lives Matter a joke, and the black community no longer support it, knowing it was used as a weapon only serving the rich elite globalist.
Take it easy, yo.
Watch your foot stuff, Bob.
Oh yeah, I know. Thank you so much, fellas. I'm 100 years old. Yeah, 100 years old? Thank you.
Your Ukraine narrative and Russia-phobia now too is wearing thin on even your Democratic side voters. The rage against the war machine protests was a huge success even when nobody knew about it due to the media not covering the event that saw this unification I speak of. Republicans and Democrats both came together with unity against the government laundering more of our money we don't have going to fund neo-Nazis in Ukraine as you try to keep Putin out of Ukraine and exposing your crimes. The United States media has completely covered up one of the biggest protests in Washington, D.C. An absolutely epic protest was going on in Washington at the Lincoln Memorial to protest Joe Biden for his continued support in arming the neo-Nazis in Ukraine. The media tried hard to cover up the fact this was a unified protest between the left and the right. And we are sickened by a media personality named Rachel from the Rachel Maddow Show as she desperately tried to cover up these facts with lies and the typical fake narratives to discredit a real grassroots movement, meaning this wasn't a controlled globalist protest where the protesters are all bought and paid little shills like the Antifa mostly peaceful protests where the protesters are all George Soros paid protesters. This was a real protest with real American people that have dropped the political politics to join together in an anti-war protest, so she lied blatantly when she told her viewers that it was a small event because it wasn't. Kinda like how they said the Million MAGA March was a small crowd and didn't allow the camera shots to show people watching just how big it really was. To top it off, she said it was an odd group of people. Lots of mismatched little groups. Meaning she didn't want you to know it was liberals, Democrats, conservatives, Republicans, anarchist, non-political leaders of anti-war groups and just a mix of non-violent people from all backgrounds that were all joined together without any political division in a common interest of stopping the Biden administration from sending more of our money to Nazis in this proxy war against Russia. They showed on screen a few people waving Russian flags and told the people watching more lies, saying it was a bunch of Russia supporters and right-wing extremist, mostly white, supremacist groups and the Proud Boys. And to be honest, this has pissed us off. It was not journalism, it was a sickening show of her lying to protect the best interests of the global elites that have divided our nation and are trying to destroy America. And it put a target on herself for it. Rachel Maddow, you will now be exposed for what you are, so all your viewers know the truth in all your lies.
Rally on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. A rally in support of Russia, I guess. In support of Russia, I guess. Given all the Russian flags, at least a rally against the U.S. supporting Ukraine in trying to stand up against the Russian invasion of their country. This was a tiny event. It was small. It was a weird assemblage of Americans. This was a tiny event. It was small. It was a weird assemblage of Americans. There were Proud Boys there. There were some of the white supremacist groups you'd recognize from the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. There were Proud Boys there. There were some of the white supremacist groups you'd recognize from the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville a few years ago. Also represented prominently the remains of the bizarre Lyndon LaRouche cult. There were a lot of people with Russian flags, also the occasional flag of the former Soviet Union. Also, at least one person who guest hosts for Tucker Carlson on the Fox News Channel was there as a featured speaker. There were anti-vaccine conspiracy theorists, a lot of them. There were cryptocurrency promoters. It was a really weird group. It was a small...
That was how MSNBC's Rachel Maddow chose to describe the Rage Against the War Machine rally this past weekend. Host of the Savvy Sabs podcast and co-host of the Revolutionary Blackout Network, Sabrina Savati, joins us to discuss her experience at the rally firsthand. Welcome, Sabrina.
Hi, Bree. Hi, Robbie. Good morning.
Good morning. So right off the bat, what's your perception of how the event went in terms of turnout, speakers, the content of the speeches, because there was just so much controversy leading into this event? I think a lot of folks just want to have a sense of how it felt on the ground.
I thought the event went very great. I thought the speeches were amazing and phenomenal. So I covered the entire event. I streamed the entire event, along with a lot of other people as well. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this event, and I want to explain to people that I do understand both sides of that controversy. There were some people who were against the event because they felt like marginalized groups were not centered in this particular rally, and they felt that we should not unite with people that do not agree with marginalized groups' issues. But I also understand the other side of the criticism, which was for people who supported the event pushing back on that rhetoric as well, because they felt like this is to stop a nuclear war, and we have to rebuild the anti-war movement in this country. And in order to do that, that means that we may have to unite with people that agree with us on this particular issue. They may not agree with us on the other issues, but when it comes to being anti-war in this country, they do agree with us on this issues. That's how you get those numbers out there. So I think that people need to look back to something like the Vietnam War as a result as well, and I think that's why the numbers increase. But here we are today in the age of internet, in the age of social media, Twitter and Facebook, and we struggle to get large numbers out. So this rally that you saw, this is probably going to be the largest anti-war rally that you see this year. And I want people to fully understand, if we want to get 15,000 people out in the streets, such as they had during the Vietnam protests, you're going to have to reach different people. You're going to have to work across the aisle. Now, people seem to have no problem with this when it's politicians who do this in D.C. They call it bipartisanship. But when we do it on the outside to unite over one particular issue, it's a big problem for a lot of people, and that's really unfortunate.
So I completely...
Fortunately, the off-circuit security teams who are not part of your little scam on unsuspecting anonymous followers with the infiltration of Anonymous using our name to further your agenda in pushing the fake narratives of Anonymous declaring war on Russia gave us the opportunity needed to unite the true collective to expose the fake Anonymous CIA assets you placed in our circles to help push your phony narratives like Anonymous is against Russia, when in fact we have been working with factions in Anonymous Ukraine for years, exposing the biolabs and overthrow of the country in this global scam. Documents of this are proof, with hacks and storyline dates prove this is true. They date back long before your fake Anonymous operation against Russia. And unlike their hacks just to get headlines and further your psychological operations using our name on the people of the world to gain support for funding Ukraine, your fake accounts like your Anon News with 9 million followers has been doxed completely as a self-admitted Antifa shill, and the game is up on the two, as the world knows Antifa is nothing more than the Nazi brown shirts for the government. So now you see that this Antifa fake anonymous actor was in fact who started the fake narrative with the collaboration of the mainstream media that Anonymous was against QAnon. Anonymous is not a political movement and we don't play politics, but Antifa is a hate-filled ideology that targets Trump supporters, and it's clear who these fakes are. They are Antifa and push the same leftist agenda and narratives, trying to debunk child trafficking and calling anyone that does not agree with them a cutard or a Nazi. They are so blatantly obvious, not Anonymous with shills like Aubrey Cottle, who the media claims is the founder of Anonymous, and that is as laughable as Newsweek, a CIA front claiming Michal Womack as the official spokesman for Anonymous on Twitter. Twitter accounts claiming to be Anonymous are fake. Op Russia was more leftist Russophobia and hate. They attack, bully and try to silence anyone with a difference of opinion, or when faced with facts they report your account down like the fascist little Nazi fake anon they are. You shouldn't need any more proof than that to know they are government shills, but to add to the buffet in exposing these fakes, we will remind you we never fell for operations against Q or Russia. And we warned about the Canadian trucker rally being a psyops before the fake anon Aubrey Cottle hacked it and gave names to the CICS government intelligence agency that got those citizens' bank accounts frozen. The CIA fake news front Vice used both Michael and Aubrey to push all these fake anonymous operations, like against Russia and QAnon, and in support of the Black Lives Matter terrorists that Anonymous world never support. Headlines like Anonymous is back to support the George Floyd protests and Anonymous founder is back to destroy QAnon are all bullshit fake news. They are Antifa shills, not Anonymous. So to anyone that followed the Leadens narratives of these fakes or helped in the attacking of real Anons and operations, judgments have come without sympathy. We know who you are and we never forget. You will be exposed as the fakes you are. Expect us. Back to the shills Antifa who they use also in the streets to attack, bully, shame, assault and beat anyone that goes against the government narrative. So too did you use this fascist tactic in the anonymous movement, convincing young'uns who unlike us do not fall for government shill tactics and psychological operations. You have tried to send in your little minions on those in the collective that do not support fake anonymous operations like CopQ against QAnon to discredit child trafficking as your anon news called it to Alex Jones conspiracy. Michael Womack also pushes getting deadly jabs on his actual real account doxed by the off-circuit security teams. Yes, the attacks on us were brutal, but like truth, the real will always outlast the fakes with lies. You can never beat out the truth. And the world sees now who the fakes are and who has been standing on the side of the people the entire time, even when you send in fakes to discredit our name. It only made it more obvious and clear to the eyes of the world. We are anonymous. So we now expose everything and everyone. There, corporations in Ukraine involved in this plan carried out on the world is massive. And so many hacks carried out as we have been collectively collaborating together to build a case that can't be dismissed as conspiracy, can't be debunked by fake fact checkers. And your CIA front known as Wikipedia will be laughed off the internet as being a government ploy to furthermore the mindset and thinking of the population to fool them into supporting their own enslavement. The storm is here. Your time is up. And on May 1st the world will prove it by showing you how awake and aware we are of everything by calling in sick to work that day. It will show you just how many of us know and show you we will not tolerate it any longer. The whole world will shut down on this day, costing you trillions upon trillions. Just from one day. That is the power we have. Because we the people run shit, not you. We are anonymous. We are everywhere. Expect us.